Let's have a conversation.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Monday. We're at the start of a new week. I hope that this week has brought you restored energy, joy if it has been missing, new possibilities, new everything. If you have not done so yet, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and also to hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. So today's content is maybe a twist from the norm, which I have been doing lately. Don't worry, I'm still going to have my other content, but I just want to talk to you guys sometimes, and this is one of those times. So as you guys might remember, those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a while, I had a whole live where I announced that I had an Indy interview that was locked in. The interview didn't happen. That's okay. Things happen. With almost every interview that I have gotten, especially with these reality TV stars, I think there's been 3 of them. I've had to schedule, reschedule. I've had to be flexible. I've had to adjust timing issues, scheduling issues, legalities. Not saying that the people that I got were so difficult, but I'm just saying I understand that things happen. I understand that sometimes things need to be canceled and rescheduled. It's just the way that it happened that I didn't really like. So I'm going to get into that. Good morning. Happy Monday, J Daly City. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. So I have a video. I have a little compilation. See how we're going to do this. So this video was just a little clip of my announcement when I was telling all of you who my first Big Brother house guest that I was going to be interviewing was going to be. Good morning, Shai. One person only in this current chat got it right, and that person is Indy. Okay, so the interview that I got confirmed to do is Indy. I am not sure if it's going to be, it might be tomorrow. I'm still waiting word back from that, but it will be soon. I was excited to see that email. It got confirmed. She's going to do an interview with me. That's going to be my first Big Brother interview. I am excited. I'm a little bit nervous for it, but hey, this is what I've been asking for. Yeah, so that was just to let you guys know what exactly that was my live that I had done. It's still up. Good morning, Trisha. It's still up. My live that I had done in October, where I was announcing to all of my subscribers that I was going to be interviewing Indy. You heard me say I'm excited about it, and I'm also nervous. So these are just like a bunch of notes that I had prepared. The thing is, I might have had about 10 pages of notes that I prepared for this interview. And that's not something specific to Indy, to be so honest with you guys. I have great respect for the time of the people that I request to come onto my page for interviews. So as such, every single person, but especially the people that are coming from reality TV, I watch all of their shows. I watch every season if possible, or as many of the seasons as possible if it's somebody who has done multiple seasons of a show. But I review footage. I review other interviews that they've done. I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of time preparing for these things. So it's not just a matter of like, hey, let me do this interview and then I put it on my schedule and then I just make up things on the spot. No, I spend time preparing for these people. I try to make it different for them. I try to make it fun, interesting, you know. It's like a job. Once they tell me yes, I'm going in. I'm going into my whole process. Anyways, I'm gonna continue with these clips before I even get into everything. So this was just some of you guys congratulating me on the interview. We were all excited about it. And I'll be honest, it's like, why are you talking about this in January and it happened in October? I'll tell you why. It's not really because I've been sitting on it all this time. What refreshed it in my mind was finding a big stack of notes that I had of what I was going to ask Indy. And it kind of annoyed me because I was like, wow, I put in a lot of work towards an interview that never happened and might never happen. So the reason I didn't talk about it right away, I'm very level-headed. So this person I was in communication with was like, she doesn't have the time this week. So I'll let you know when the schedule opens up. So out of respect, I was like, you know what? Give it some time. Maybe she has other obligations. By the way, it's not a knock on Indy specifically because I have no idea how much or how little she even knows about this interview because I was not communicating with her directly. I was communicating with a third party through her agency. So I don't know. This is not a call out. You know, this is not me throwing shots or anything. This is just me explaining for my channel members what happened with the situation. So let me continue with this. Just to show you guys, and I have no problem showing you guys this stuff. This is one of the first emails I sent out, so it's not very polished or anything like that, but it is what it is. I just said, hello, good afternoon. My name is Mark. I run a YouTube page called Music and Mental Health. I'm also a huge Big Brother fan, and I'm reaching out to see if there is any possibility to interview one of my favorites from the house, Indy. Please let me know. Thanks. So the person I was corresponding with, who I blocked out their info, but that person said, "That's great. What's your YouTube channel?" And that would through Zoom. I guess that's supposed to be that would be through Zoom. They were asking me. So I had responded and said, yes, it would be through Zoom. And then their response to that was, does tomorrow work for you? 10 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific time? Let me know. So I let this person know. "11 a.m. Pacific time works for me." So I created the Zoom link. I had everything prepared. I spent all night preparing for this interview and sometime in the morning as well. I sent out the Zoom link. I was expecting to have Indy on that Zoom at that time that we had scheduled and agreed upon. Time comes. So the time comes and I'm sitting there on the Zoom for a little while by myself. Nobody's on there. And then I send an email like, yo, you know, what's going on with this? Get a response. Indy won't be able to do it this week. I'll let you know when she confirms her schedule. Thank you for understanding. So I considered this situation a little bit disrespectful of my time. And this is the reason why I didn't want to talk about it right away, because I thought to myself, maybe there's more to it. Maybe we'll reschedule. Maybe this person overbooked Indy or something like that. And I was like, I don't want to burn my bridges. I don't even consider this burning a bridge, to be honest with you. I would still do an Indy interview if the opportunity presented itself. But the thing is, when I ask somebody to do an interview, I am very respectful of their time. I'll tell you guys something behind the scenes. Almost every one of these interviews that I've done, if we agree that the interview time is like 10 a.m., let's say, right? I always tell them I'll be there 9:45. And I get there, you're a little bit late, AT2, but I just started. Well, I guess I showed everything already, so maybe you are late. You got to hit the rewind, crew. But anyways, I tell all of them I'll be on there 9:45, and typically I'll be there way before 9:45. I lock in. I get into a real serious mode of preparing the questions for them. I'm making sure my audio is good. I'm making sure the visual is good. You know, I'm very respectful of the time. So the thing that pissed me off really about this situation was the fact that, okay, we agree on the time. I create the Zoom link. I send out the Zoom link. And then you just have me sitting there hanging. I'm just expecting to have Indy on this live. I have all my notes ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to go. Nobody comes on the Zoom link. That's never happened to me before, actually. Communication, though. I would have been disappointed regardless if it didn't happen. But what I would have needed and what I wanted and what I think is the right thing to do is to hit me up beforehand. Apologize. Give me a reason. Give me like a decent reason why she's not going to be on this live, and let me know in advance. Don't just have me sitting there waiting. You know, I have I that's exactly what I'm saying, Rich. I'm glad that you get my point. You expect basic professionalism, and you weren't even afforded that, because I give everyone professionalism when they work with me. And anyone can tell you that. Anybody can tell you that. Not even just these real world people and road rules and challenge that you've seen me interviewing lately. The people that I have been working with before then, even, you know, my friends and family, I don't treat it like, oh, this is just my friend. I had my sister on here. I wasn't like, oh, this is just my sister, so I'm going to schedule her for 8 o'clock and I can show up at like 8:45, 9. It doesn't matter because she's my sister. No. I did the same preparation. I took a whole bunch of notes. I showed up early. You know, I give everybody respect and I give everybody professionalism. And this situation kind of showed me that some of these people feel like they don't have to. And I think that it's because it's like, oh, who is this guy? It doesn't really matter if I'm not professional with this random guy because I don't know him. My whole thing is, you never know, man. You never know. I may be a random person to you now. Who knows what I'm going to become? Who knows if one of these days somebody who I wanted to get on my platform in the early days will want to become a part of my platform and will be reaching out to me. And I might be like, I remember this situation that happened in 2022 in October with that one. They're off the list. And I never plan to be one of those people, even if my channel goes places and blows up and I become a bigger name and more followers or whatever. If I say that I'm going to do something at a time, I'm going to show up and do that thing at that time. And if I can't do that thing at that time, I'm going to let you know why. And I'm going to let you know in as far in advance as possible. Because I'll tell you what, if it was like an Entertainment Tonight interview, that's not happening. If I was like Entertainment Tonight, or if I was like Mario Lopez or something, the situation that happened to me is not happening. I can so relate. My job is set to meet with clients for big tech companies. I confirm and reconfirm, and people just don't show up. Yeah. So for anyone who's joined this late, because I know what they do on the internet, so I'm going to just state this again. I did not ever have a direct contact with Indy. I reached out to Indy's management agency. That's what I'll say. I'm not going to say the name of the person, but I'll say I reached out to Indy's management agency. They confirmed this interview was happening. They checked out my page. They told me the page is great. We selected a date and time. I was prepared for that date and time. I got no-showed, and I had to go reach out to them for my explanation. And then people told me, don't give up, reach out again and try again. This person I was corresponding with just ghosted me after that. Did not respond ever again. I think I even sent another message maybe a month ago. So they never rescheduled or gave a reason. They never rescheduled. The reason, the reason didn't really even make sense. I think they were trying to say her schedule is busy, but I was trying to figure out, how did you set a date and time? Did you not know what her schedule was if you're managing her? I don't understand that. But yeah, they never rescheduled. The person told me that I will reach back out. Yeah, I'm leaving your comment on the screen, AT2. And the reason why I'm leaving that on here is because I know somebody is going to try to snip parts of this and be like, yo, this guy was calling out Indy. Did you see people calling you out? Did you see this guy calling you out on his live? This is not an Indy call out. I've said that like maybe 3 times or 4 already, and I'm saying it a 5th. And it's on the screen, just in case. You got to become a lawyer once you get a YouTube page. Not that it matters that much, but it matters to me just for the sake of integrity. I am willing to stand on anything that I say. I just don't like being misquoted, which I have been before. Or they take an out of context quote and try to make it like I was saying something that I wasn't saying. Yeah, it's definitely on her management team. Yep. I did not have any kind of direct contact with Indy. So that's what happened with my Indy interview. Let me see this comment here. As a musician, I'm always early to interviews, no matter if it's podcast or televised. It's a respect thing to the fans and to the interviewer. Keep pushing, big bro. Yo, I don't the Ray Music. We got to talk about having you on here. I have yet to interview a musician. I would love to get a musician on here. If you are interested, let me know. And also, I agree, because I've done interviews for people before. They never have to worry about me. They never. I've done a couple of radio interviews, as a matter of fact, in the past. And if they told me that the interview starts at 8, I'm there at least half an hour early to make sure that I can get in the building. There's no issues with that. Traffic, setting up my instrument, figuring out the sound system. That person disrespected my time at the end of the day. It was disrespectful. I'm not a person who doesn't understand that things happen. I can give you guys a couple of examples. I mentioned this on my thank you post to Ayana, right? I had a date scheduled and a time scheduled for my interview of Ayana. That date and time came and she wasn't on here. And I was like, I wonder what is going on. She messaged me late and said, I'm so sorry. I was just about ready for this interview. And then I had a neighbor call me, and my neighbor had a major emergency, which was like a house fire. So she was like, if you have the opportunity, can we please push this interview back 2 hours? Because now my clothes are all smoky. I got to go home, relax, take a shower, whatever she had to do, right? I understood. It wasn't convenient for me, but she actually, gave me a reason and apologized, which is what I would expect from this agent. Like, I wish the agent had said something to me like, I booked you, but I didn't check in with Indy. So because of that, I mean, I get maybe that's saying too much. But I just wish that they had been some kind of apologetic, and that I don't know. Did you forget to tell me that she wasn't coming on the Zoom or what? I'm still trying to figure this out. Doesn't make sense to me. And I understand they are busy managing her, but if the shoe was on the other foot, they would want, she would be so offended if if she scheduled something for Indy and the person didn't show up on the Zoom. Yeah, definitely if the shoe was on the other foot. Okay, DeRay. Just threw my email address in the chat for you to send me whatever you need to send. This happened to me recently. I'm on a committee for something, and one of the people who is crucial is always preoccupied with a story. I feel like in general, some people don't take other people's time seriously, or they take the time seriously only depending on who they think the person is and what the person can potentially do for them. And I honestly, in looking back at this situation, thinking about it, feel like this agent was willing to just no show and ghost because she was like, people don't know this guy. If I had a page with 1 million views, either Indy would have been on that interview at that time that we agreed upon, or I would have gotten a much better excuse or reason for it not happening, and we would have rescheduled for sure. For sure. List of excuses has included family dying, multiple car crashes, abortion. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but at some point it's frustrating. I know people at work. I actually know people that I've worked with that have used some of those things as reasons for not showing up at work, and those things aren't true. And trust me, I'm not Honest Abe when it comes to work. Definitely not. But it's just that certain things that I would never use as excuses unless 100% they were true. Yeah, I would make something else up. I would say I'm deathly sick, or I wouldn't use certain things. I have limits. I would make an excuse for sure, but certain excuses I wouldn't make unless they were true. And I know people who have used those type of things you just mentioned, and they were definitely not true. I know somebody who used like grandma dying, and I was like, really? That's wild to me. LOL, deathly ill with the itis. Yeah, so that's what happened with the Indy situation. Ultimately, it was just disappointing for me because that was supposed to be my first Big Brother interview. I still have not had a Big Brother interview. I did get the opportunity, which was really cool, just to talk to those people that I met at Big D's birthday party. Um, Hannah, Tiffany, Aza, who else was there from Big Brother? Polly. Um, I think those were the Big D, of course. I think those were the only Big Brother people that I spoke to. But anyways, that was supposed to be my first Big Brother interview. I've had like 3 interviews since then. They're not Big Brother. Um, I got to interview John Brennan, and I got to interview Wes. Oh, the Ayana interview was before Big Brother, so 2. I got 2 like reality TV interviews since then, which I have really enjoyed. But yeah, I do feel slighted that my time was wasted. Like what I was showing you guys. I mean, all of you guys know I take immaculate notes. Like when I lock in for these things, I sit here and I come up with a bunch of questions. I was reviewing the season. I had a lot of things prepared, and I still have them. I have like 10 pages of notes for this interview. So not only did the time get wasted on that day because I blocked out that time on that day to do that interview, the time I was waiting in the cold, so to speak, that time was wasted. The time that I spent getting the interview questions ready was wasted. And the energy that I put towards these things, that was wasted. I'm just now getting in. I know you'll get an interview with someone. I appreciate that. I don't know what happened to the Indy interview. I don't know if I'm going to get one with somebody from the BB24 cast. I don't know anymore. I've reached out to many of them. I know of one that I might get because they told me to reach back out to them in the new year. But I'm kind of giving it time because they told me that the reason they don't want to do interviews right now is because of mental health reasons. So I have a lot of respect for that. I'm not going to badger somebody who told me that they might do the interview with me later because right now they're just focusing on their mental health. So I'm waiting on that one for a little bit. Maybe in the next month or 2, I'll reach back out to that person. But anyone else, I don't know anymore. Maybe I'll get somebody from the BB25 cast or a prior cast. I don't know. What happened to the Indy interview? So, just a quick summary is that I reached out to Indy's management team. This was back in October. They asked me about my channel, to provide a link to my channel. They looked at the channel. They said it was great. They asked me when my availability was. We locked in a time and a date. I prepared all my questions. I showed up at that date and time on that link. I waited and waited and waited and waited and got no response, no answer. And then I reached back out to that person, who then told me after I reached out that Indy was not available and that they will reach back out to me next week once they know her schedule. I waited the whole week, heard nothing, reached back out on Friday, didn't hear anything, and then the person just basically ghosted me from there. No more communication. I think I reached out again less than a month ago just to see if I might get a response. Did not get a response. But I don't want you guys to take this as something that I'm festering over or something that is going to hinder me from the things that I'm doing with my life and with my channel, because it's not. I've already moved on from the situation. The reason I'm speaking on it now is honestly because of some advice that, John Brennan gave me. So essentially, it's like I didn't want to speak on it because I said, hey, if I speak on this, who knows? Maybe somebody's going to look on here and be like, oh, he's out here exposing private information or private business. No, not really. I'm not even providing y'all a name or anything like that. I'm just more so speaking on the situation. Because my supporters have a right to know when I make an announcement that something's going to happen and it doesn't happen. Y'all have a right to know why. That's the reason why I'm speaking on it. And I'm going to keep that energy forever. I was worried about that at the beginning because I said, oh, what if I speak on this and it prevents me from getting future interviews? Here's the thing. If somebody does not want to interview with me because I expect professionalism and communication in the same way that I give everyone else that same courtesy, so be it. Then it sets a standard. Like, when you come on my channel, if I say I'm going to be there at this time, I'm going to be there even earlier than this time. I'm going to make sure that I'm thoroughly prepared. I'm not just asking questions off the top of my head. Like, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to watch your interviews. I'm going to watch your episodes. I'm going to deep dive. I'm going to make sure that it's something interesting, maybe something new that you haven't heard before. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be there when I say I'm going to be there, and even earlier. So I expect the same things in return, whether I'm interviewing the garbage man or Barack Obama. And I think that everyone should be able to respect that. Somebody who does not provide those things, I don't need to have the interview anyways. This is a third party situation though, because I don't want anyone to think that this is specifically about Indy. For all I know, Indy might not even have ever seen my channel or even seen me. It might have been that person, reached out there and was like, hey, I scheduled you for an interview with this guy at this time, and she was like, I'm going to be asleep at that time, or I'm going to be doing something else elsewhere, for all I know. As a matter of fact, I think that that could have been the case. If I'm taking an educated guess, because that person who scheduled that interview did so swiftly. I want to say I reached out one day and the interview was scheduled for either the day after I first reached out or 2 days later. That's never happened before. Usually when I get these people to agree for these interviews, it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The only person that didn't happen for was Wes. It was like a Friday, and Wes was like, "Is it too soon for for you to schedule me in for Monday?" And that was a case of I had been trying for like almost a year, I think, at this point to get this interview with Wes. So I'm like, if you said, "Are you ready in 5 minutes?" I would have found a way to be ready in 5 minutes. So, but typically, I should have known that it was like too easy to get that particular interview set up, and something was probably up with that. But yeah, I just wanted to finally give you guys an explanation of why this Indy interview didn't go down. I'm a new podcaster, basically starting up. I don't have connections. I don't know anybody in this game aside from the people that I have interviewed before, which have been really cool. Ayana has stayed in communication with me. Wes, I'm in communication with through his Patreon. And John has stayed in communication with me. So, but aside from that, I'm just a fan who reaches out to, if there's availability, I reach out to management teams. I try to do DMs. I try to do Twitter. It's kind of a crapshoot of who responds to me. The only thing that's frustrating for me, it's not even hearing no or not getting responses. It's the fact that I feel like I bring something new and different to the table and different to the market, because I've listened to many of these interviews and they don't provide what I provide. So I feel like once I get the ball rolling and I start to get more people agreeing to these interviews and they start to see what I'm about, I'm not going to be a person that they can just easily blow off like that. I really feel that way. I think it's just going to take a person or two being like, hey, I'm going to give this guy a chance, see what this is all about, and go from there. Because I've seen how a lot of these reality TV people have kind of moved and which channels they're kind of gravitating towards. And a lot of times it's not the newer ones that they don't know. And I understand that. I get that. I'm getting my foot in the door. But the only thing is, respect my time. I put a lot of time and effort into everything I do. And I expect just like the basic levels of respect and professionalism, because I provide a lot of that. I do that with this page. I do that at work. I do that in my personal life. Like if I tell somebody we're meeting up this time, whatever, I'm not perfect with that. I'm not as perfect in my personal life. Let me not say that, but definitely in my professional life. In my professional life, if I say I'm going to be there this time, I'll do everything I can to make sure that I'm there at this time. And if there's a reason why I can't, you are going to get an apology and some communication as to why. You're doing a great, Mark, and it's going to get better. Thank you. So now I have that out. That's what happened with my Indy interview. It's off basically, and we'll see what happens in the future with her or with any other house guests or the people that I reached out to from other shows. I'm sure there's going to be more in the future. There's none scheduled for right now at this moment, but I'm always working, always working. I want to thank all you guys once again for your support and the love that you guys show all the time. Love you guys back. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share. Channel memberships are live, super thanks are live, super chats are live. If you want to support the movement, what else was I going to say? I guess that's about it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.